What may I get for you this evening?
I think
I'll order for us. We will split the absolute perfection, but instead of anxiety, could I get a flawless side of raised expectations, please?
Of course. And how would you like your circumstances?
Micromanaged? Micromanaged. Oh, and please tell the chef that no matter how well he prepares it, I'll still be dissatisfied.
Will do.
Oh, and can we get some 38% shinier silverware?
Yes, sir.
What a close to but not quite perfect evening.
Good morning. We're in the middle of a series called I Choose. I choose. Last week we said we choose purpose over perfection or popularity. Anyone worried about being popular? This week we're jumping right in. We're going to be talking about choosing surrender over control. Where we are in our lives is the accumulation of the choices that we make. I was telling you that about my dad saying one of those things where one of the wisest things he ever talked to me about was my choices. I don't care what you do in life as long as it's your choice. And where we sit today is the accumulation of our choices in life. And so today, we're going to be jumping right in here and we're going to be talking about choosing surrender over control. And next week, we're going to be talking about choosing discipline over regret. So let's start right here. How many of you in this room like to be in control in some facet of your life? I am praying for the households that I see that both the husband and the wife are raising their hands. And I see some people raising 2 hands. I saw that. Yes. That's tough, bro. That's tough, folks. But that's what happens. I know what that's like. I live with a principal, and she lives with a pastor. You think that we have control issues? You think that you betcha. And then we live with Libby. If you know Libby, Libby's an angel, but she's a control freak. She really is. Bella goes with the flow more than Libby. But anyway, it's just that way. We like to be in control in some facet. Who's Mike and Brandy? Who's controlling that house? That was the kids talking. It's like, we're trying to figure that out. Hey, we got the same tug of war in our house, don't you worry. I was proud of my wife yesterday. We were driving around Northwest Arkansas, and she said, I want you to know I'm proud of how you've acted today. You've been such a good mood. And I said, oh man, awesome. Does that mean you're going to drive home? And she goes, no, you're my leader. You lead me. And I said, you remember that. You remember that. I told her, you just made my sermon. So you remember that. Oh, it's good. But anyways, choosing surrender over control. If you tried to raise someone's hand sitting next to you this morning, you're the control freak, not them. Just wanted to point that out. But there's times that we like control. What about at work? Control freak at work, maybe? Things have to be done your way, on your time. And if you want it done right, you've got to do it yourself. You ever said that in your life? Oh, why did I even ask them to do it? Why did I even waste my time asking them to do it when I knew they were going to fail? I knew they'd fail. What about at home? Everything has a place. Everything has a place. It goes in a certain spot. Anybody have to have straight lines when they vacuum? Yes? Purvis, I see Purvis. I don't care about the inside, but I'm one of those guys, I do like straight lines in the mowing, like in the mowing. Like if you go to my house right now, I love my wife. She took it upon herself to mow. God, I love you. But if you go to my house right now, oh my gosh. It looks like we hired Riley to mow our lawn. If you know Riley, she's okay with that joke. But seriously, what about this? What about, do you like control with people? Do you micromanage people? Do you manipulate people? Do you threaten people? You're like, no, only at work. Only at work. They're my minions. That's just the way. No. Everyone's got their thing. My wife, she's not a control freak. She really isn't. At school, she might be. I don't work with her. Ladies, if you work with Julie, might want to just keep quiet. But here's for my wife. My wife is a control freak in this area. What do you think it is? If I could ask you, what do you think it would be? What's that?
The way you dress.
The way I dress? Finances? Who said that one? That was a good one, yes. My wife is a control freak with finances, and my wife, yeah, she is definitely one of those people. I've walked down the stairs and Julia will go, Are you wearing that? Like, no, I was just wearing it to take it down to the dirty clothes. I don't know what I was thinking. Or she is a control freak with this, the schedule. The schedule. She is a control freak with the schedule. Finances and the schedule, which is good because somebody in our life has to be, right? Somebody in our life has to be. And for me, I'm a control freak in this area. I'm a control freak with two things in my life: the remote control and the radio. Those are the two things. I have to have control of those. If I can have control of those two things, life's good. Like, I'm happy. And you know what it's like when you're watching TV? Anybody work or live with someone that when you're watching TV, they're a flipper? They're a flipper? Yes. Because we all know it's not about what's on the channel we're watching, but it's the possibility of what else could be on, right? I'm digging. I've got this new thing where I can watch 2 channels at once. And I've been guilty of this. I'll have like the TV going and my iPad going and my phone going, 3 different things. Like, I can't micromanage or multitask in anywhere else but that for some reason. Like, I can have like fantasy going, I can be watching football, and then I'm keeping up with something. Like, it just works that way. But that's just how I work. But anyways, I don't care about schedule. I care about the remote and the radio. So here we go. Let's jump right into this. We're going to jump and see what the Lord has to say about control. And we're going to bring up one of the most quoted, one of the most popular, one of the most challenging scriptures that there is. Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust. Everyone just say that word. Trust. Because people that are control freaks struggle with that one word right there. Trust. People that are control freaks struggle with that first word. People that are control freaks look at that and say, nope. Can't trust the Lord. You can't trust someone to do something right for you. You can't trust your kids to do what you asked them. You can't trust. People with control issues struggle with trust. Trust in the Lord with how much of your heart? How much of your heart? All of your heart, which goes back to trust. Everything, 100%. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean what? Oh, man. It goes back to that trust thing. It goes back to control. Lean not on your own understanding, and in what? Your ways. Now, this is the good one for people with trust issues, for people with control issues. This word right here is a dirty word. What's that next word? Submit. People with control issues submit to no one, to nobody, to no one. And trust Him in all your ways. Submit to God. But there's good news for us, and He will make your paths straight. Trust. Another way to say trust is this word, acknowledge. To acknowledge, to trust, to acknowledge. Because here's what happens. The more that we try to control, the more we're afraid of losing control. The more that we try to control, the more that we control, the more we're afraid of losing control. The more that we're afraid, the more we try to control. And it's a dirty cycle. It's a dirty cycle. The more we try to control, the more we're afraid we'll lose control, which causes us to try and control more. And it just continues. It's like a dog chasing his tail. So let's look at an example from the Old Testament of control gone bad. Control gone bad. We're going to look at these 2 characters. We're looking at Abram and Sarai, that later became Abraham and Sarah. Sarah and Abraham once took things into control in their own life. And when there was a point where there was danger, Abraham even lied and said that Sarah was his sister rather than his wife. And they took control into their own hands. And God had promised to bless Abraham. They were trying to have a child, but they were having struggles and trouble doing that. So what happens? They take it into their own control. So what happens is Sarah tells Abraham, Abraham's promised that he's going to be the father of many nations. But what Abraham does is he listens to his wife, who's the control freak, that tries to take things in her own hands, in her own power. And what she does is she tells Abraham to have relations, to lay down, if you will, with the maidservant, the Haggai, okay? And so here's what happens. It takes too long. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, but she had an Egyptian slave named Hagar. And she said to him, Abraham, the Lord has kept me from having children. Go and sleep with my slave. This is where she takes control. Perhaps I can build a family through her. Well, God didn't promise that He would build a family through anybody else but Abraham and Sarah. And what she does is she takes it upon herself. She's got to have it now. So Abram, what does he do? He agreed to what Sarah had said. So after Abram had been living in Canaan for 10 years, Sarah, his wife, took the Egyptian slave Hagar and gave her to her husband to be his wife. And he slept with Hagar, and she conceived. Well, God made a promise, and that promise didn't match their time schedule. How often have we done something like this in our own lives, where God possibly has something meant for us, but we jump the gun? We jump the gun and we jump for something that's good, but not great. And we miss great for something that's just good. Or we miss it for something that's temporarily satisfying. And that's exactly what happens here. Because here, the intentions were good. It wasn't about just a deceitful relationship. They wanted a family. And there was no adoption agency, I guess, that they could go to. I don't know. So what they do, the intentions are good. But what happens, though, is they doubt God. They take control, and bad things happen. God made a promise, and that promise didn't match their time schedule, so they took control. Well, what happens because of this? Chaos ensues. Chaos for centuries that we still deal with today ensues. Because there was more than one child that came out through this family. You have Ishmael and you have Isaac. The Palestinians with Ishmael, the Jews with Isaac. And today we have a choice. There's Muhammad, and there's Christ, and there's a whole generation, there's a whole culture of people that line up and they follow Muhammad. And there's a whole culture of Christians that we follow up and we worship Christ. And they're at odds. They're at odds because of a choice made because someone accepted something less than what God had for them. Even today. So there's two rules that we have to learn from this today. Do not ever sleep with a woman named Hagar. And the second rule is never forget number one. Don't ever sleep with a woman named Hagar. And a lot of us, we're doing the same thing today. If we're Christians today, there's some things that we should do. If we're believers, we shouldn't date a non-Christian. And there are women today, you're looking for a Christian single man and you can't find him, so you settle for a single man. But he was so cute. He was so good looking. I can change him. Had the Florence Nightingale syndrome. I can change him to be what I want him to be. I could just give him a chance. I can change him when we settle. A lot of us, we do this. We settle in our finances. We're supposed to tithe. We're supposed to tithe, but we feel, we've worked too hard, and God promises to bless us if we would tithe. God says, you know what? I will give you what you need, and I'll make sure that you'll have more than you ever need if you would just give of your first 10%. But a lot of us, we take control in this area. We say, no, this is mine. This is something I have to control. It's something I have to control because, God, I can't submit to you in this area. I can't submit to you in this area. I've got to do it my way. Sometimes we have a spouse that we can't just let be how they are. We feel we need to control them. Do you have to chew with your mouth open? Are you really going to wear that? Are you going to drive that way? I'm just picturing a woman saying all that. I'm kidding. And then we have the same thing. We have these things called helicopter parents that don't let God take care of your children. You hover over them. My wife is a principal. She knows what a helicopter parent is. These children that can do no wrong. These children that they have parents that show up at the drop of a hat for any time their child does something. Oh, I just want them. They didn't do their homework. They get a homework assignment and they didn't do it, so the parent steps up and they do it for them. They help them out. Little Johnny's got to get into college. Little Johnny's I have to hover over him. I've got to help him with everything he does because if I don't, he'll never succeed. We never let him fail. We're never mean to them. And if somebody else is mean to them, you don't want to see Mama Bear come out. We don't let our kids fight their own battles and develop a thick skin. Whenever we send our kids out to go to the mail, we give them a helmet and pads and say, little Johnny, careful, it's a bad, dirty world out there. Do you know that it's true today? There is 8% of kids graduating from college today, when they go to their interview for their first job, 8%, it says, the statistic shares that 8% of these kids have a mom that goes with them to the interview. 8%. What's wrong with our world today? If you ever interview with me, Leave mom in the car. I realized that she was your ride there, but leave her in the car. It's crazy. So today, what I want you to do as we get going here, some of you have talk notes sitting there in your hands, or you have your phone out or something like that. I want you right now to think in your life to name something that you are trying to control. Because we all are trying to control something. Is it your kids? Is it your marriage? Is it your finances? Is it your career? What is it? And there's some of you right now, you're listening to this, and you're like, I'm not gonna write anything down. And you're proving my point about control as you choose not to write anything down. I'm not gonna do your stupid illustration, Shane. What is it that you're trying to control? Is it your kids? Maybe it's your grown kids if you're a grandparent because they're not raising your kids the way you'd have them raised. Is it your spouse's schedule, Julie? Is it your coworkers? Is it your image? Are you trying to control your image through Facebook, through filters, through everything that you put out there that isn't real? What is it you're trying to control? Is it your future? Here's today, there's some things that we have to surrender, we have to trust God with rather than allow us to control. 3 questions that will help you choose surrender over control. First thing is this. As you look at your life, as you look at things that you're dealing with, you have to ask yourself, is this circumstance, is this situation that I'm dealing with right now, is it worth my concern? Is it worth my concern? I'm really good at this one. I'll look at something and I'll go, you know what? I don't have time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Was that Georgia? Sweet Georgia? Was that her name? Ain't nobody got time for that. Learn to pick your battles. There's certain things in life that you have to let go. I'm thinking of household things. What if the towels aren't folded just right? You look at the towels and you open up the closet and the kids put the towels away and you're just like, oh my gosh. I just cannot sleep tonight because the towels are not folded correctly. And while I say that, there are moms in this room going, your kids fold towels? Are you kidding me? I would kill for that. Or maybe your child, you just flip out, have a conniption, you just can't handle it if your child leaves the house in an outfit that does not match. If you ever see Gabby on a Monday, my daughter Gabby, Mondays are dad days. Here's what I let her do. My wife is amazing. She is. She'll go in, like for the little one, she'll lay out an outfit. She lays out an outfit for me, and sometimes she'll be like, that's not what I laid out for you when she sees me later in the day, and I'll go, I didn't see it, my bad. Or, no, she doesn't lay out my outfit. It's just a total joke. That was a total joke. But she'll lay out the outfit for little Gabby, and then she'll see her, and she'll go, that's not what I laid out for her. And I'll go, I know. I let her go pick out what she wanted to wear. And then Gabby will walk out with like a jersey and some like cheerleading shorts and rain boots. She always chooses rain boots. That girl is going to walk down the aisle when she gets married in rain boots. You watch. That's her jam. But you know that outfit though, or maybe you're one of these people you freak out if there's trash in your car. That's not a bad thing. But let's look at the perspective on this. I can promise you that little Johnny leaving his house, your house, in an outfit that doesn't match, I don't think it's going to keep him from college. It might keep him from getting married, but it's not going to keep him from college. And there's a lot of helicopter moms that are okay if he doesn't get married. Honey, my basement is open for you till you're 35. And some of them are abiding by that right now. But no, I look at my own life, and there's things in my life where when I come home every day, I took a picture of it as I was leaving the house today because it just, in my front yard. You pull up to our front yard. Julie and I live at the end of a dead-end street. And we've got decent grass through part of the yard. But right in the center of the yard, we have a swing, a little wooden swing. It's been a horse swing. It's been a tire swing. Now it's a wooden swing because the girls use it so much. But in that area, all my tree roots are exposed. There is no grass that grows there. And it is a tremendously huge 10-foot by 10-foot bald dirt spot. I've planted seed there. I've watered it. I've tried to maintain it. But I have no grass in the middle of my front of my yard. And it's so tough because I'll come home and I'll see that and it's like, oh! And it made me the most annoying thing to me at my house. But I do know that there will come a day, my wife, she'll tell me, she'll go, There will be a day that you look out that front door, and you're going to wish that there was a dirty brown spot in the front of your yard because little girls were out there playing in the yard. And it's the truth. There's no funny anecdote. It's the truth. There will be a day where I would give anything for that dirty, bald spot to be in my front yard, my tree roots be exposed, and that little swing I know has been swinging. Another thing that I deal with every day is softball gear. I'm a softball dad. And it's funny because there are days, I can't ever get anything into my truck because I coach. I'm not kidding you. You go out there and you look at the bed of my truck. I've got 3 chairs. I've got the softball gear. I've got Bella's gear. I've got Libby's gear. I've got everything else that goes along with it, a tee, a net. And the bed of my truck is always full of softball gear. And it's annoying, but there will become a day where I would give anything for my truck to be full of softball gear. There will be a time when they don't want to play that anymore, when they don't want to do those things. They're going to be moved out of the house, and I'm going to be dying to play softball. Just watch my girls play softball. So my point is this: is it worth your concern? What are the game changers in your life that truly require your concern? Those are just some of the things I thought of, but what is it in your world? Maybe it's something greater, maybe it's something smaller. The next question you have to ask is this: is it mine to control? Is it mine to control? If you look at the circumstance or the situation that you're dealing with, whatever it is, and you ask yourself, is it mine to control? Then this, if it is, if the answer is yes, then you do something about it. But surrendering control is not the same thing as relinquishing responsibility. We can't look at things and go, oh, you know what? My family's got to eat, but you know what? That's just not mine to control. God will take care of that. No, God gave you 2 hands and 2 feet to do work to feed your family. God gave you 2 hands and 2 feet to work to pay your phone bill, to pay your electricity. That's no one else's responsibility but yours. You can't look at that and go, you know what? It's just not even mine to control. That's called relinquishing responsibility. But you look at your life, maybe sometimes things are tight financially. Maybe sometimes you're worried about your kids. Maybe sometimes your marriage is struggling. These are the things that are yours to control, to do something about. To invest in your family, to invest in your marriage, to maybe get a second job, to maybe not spend what you don't have to spend, to maybe be fiscally responsible. Don't go home and say, you know what? Pastor Shane said we just got to give it up. Just go get that TV. Quit controlling me, woman. No. That's not what I'm saying today. But a lot of us, we worry about our kids. We hover over them. We can give them to God, let God do what God does, but we're still called to be parents, to say no when we need to say no. That's the biggest 2-letter word we need to learn to say to our children. And I love to say it to my kids. In fact, we've got a game now. This is the truth. This is what we do all the time. Every day we get in the car and Bella's like, can we go buy something? Can we go get a slushie? And I do this. I'll go, yes. And now what's so funny is all the small times in life that I actually do say yes, she gets surprised and she'll go, what? We can't? Wait, you're going to do this. And I'll go, no, we can really do it today. We can go get a slushie. But I love to say no to my kids because then when I say yes, it's a big stinking deal. I love it. No. 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 So a lot of single guys out there. Is it yours to control? You're afraid that maybe you're not going to get married. Quit playing Pokemon Go. If you're married, play Pokemon Go. That's good. But if you're a single guy playing Pokemon Go, there is no woman alive that finds that attractive. You laugh nervously. Get involved in life. Bathe. Deodorant. Move out of your parents' basement. This part I'm not kidding about. Is it yours to control? If the answer is yes, then do something about it. Third question you have to ask yourself when you encounter these circumstances in your life, is it for God alone? Is it for God alone? Let's listen to this scripture right here. Let's check it out in Philippians. Let me give you a little background. The Apostle Paul is chained to a guard on house arrest as he writes this. Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 through 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation. How many situations? It's another word for all. But in every situation, by prayer and petition, with what? because of what the Lord has already done in your life. Because that's the truth. When we go and we pray to God and we feel hopeless, we should feel hopeful. Because if God never answers another prayer, he's already done more than we ever need in our life. So with thanksgiving, present your request to God. Verse 7, and the peace of God which transcends all understanding. God does things that blow your mind, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. When you try to control what you cannot, you become anxious. When you try to control what isn't yours to control, you become anxious. And when you're anxious, guess what? Your marriage isn't good. When you're anxious, you're not a good employee. When you're anxious, you are not a good parent. When you're anxious, you are not a good friend. When we try to control what we cannot, we become anxious. And there's something that happens when we give it to God. We experience this thing called a fruit of the Spirit. Peace. Peace. I've had a few things in my life that have been thrown my way lately. Some things that I cannot control. The things that I can control, I'll do diligently. But there's some things in my life I cannot control. I can't control whether or not you like me. I cannot control whether you love me. So I have to give those things to God. I have to give those things to God, and then I have peace. Can you change your spouse?
No.
Thank you. No. If you're struggling in your marriage, you cannot change your spouse. But you know who can? God. Prayer. Let God blow your mind. Can you heal your loved one? Not without God. But God can. God sure can. Come to him and God can heal your loved one. Can you control your kids' future? Keeping them in the basement is not controlling their future. Can you control your child's future? No. But God can control their future. Prayer, petition, in all things, in all things, in all things. We're here today to tell somebody that you're trying to control, to tell someone that's trying to control something that they have to give it to God. Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways submit to God, and he will make your paths straight. When you follow Jesus, here's the truth. You are not in control. When we follow Jesus, that's one thing that we are not, is in control. We're not in control of anything. There's something about submission. That's why he is king and we are not. We serve him. We serve him. Let's pray.